Live streams are my favorite live streams. Random. I don't even know. I've never done a live stream this late before. I don't even know how this is going to go. I don't even know if people are going to show up. I don't even know if anyone's going to come. It's a late night live stream. Most people are asleep, I think. Except people in like the future. In the future around the world. New order has arrived. Oh, someone placed the order. Dope. What's going on? I have no idea if anyone's even going to show up tonight. It's a late night live stream. Late night live stream. Put my phone down. Put all this stuff. Ooh, what's going on, dude? What's up, dudes? What up? Happy late night. Happy late night stream. I don't know. I was getting all like inventory stuff set up, cleaning up in the office a little bit, and just felt like streaming. Felt like kicking it with everyone. I have no idea how many people are going to show up because I've never streamed this late before. So we'll see. But if you guys got any questions, feel free to throw them in. Might be a good time to throw some questions in if not too many people are up and jumping in. What up, man? Glad you got the BRZ back up. Thanks, Anthony. It was a huge pain to get that BRZ going again, but glad that I did, and glad that Intech was super helpful with helping out on everything. I have an idea of what the idling issue might be with the car. I think it might be the PCV valve. When I followed the instructions on MA Performance's like turbo kit install page, they told me to like knock out the valve on the inside of the PCV fitting. I did that, and I think that's attributing to the funky idle, just because when the engine's like at idle, it should be seeing a lot of vacuum and the valve should be closed a little bit just to monitor like how much air is going out, but the air's not going back into the intake manifold. So I don't really know how much like of a factor that actually plays into it. So I'm going to try it tomorrow. I'm going to see what happens, see if that changes anything. Logan, what's happening, man? Joe, what up, dudes? I'm just kicking it. Got the new merchandise put up on the website. It's hidden from everyone up until Saturday, but been spending the night organizing, folding, cleaning, fun, exciting things. Sup, what up? Vin, I think I pronounced that right with maybe a silent H. Just put an NVIDIA N1 Street Series on my 04 WRX. Ooh, wagon. Nice. I like the NVIDIA. I used to run the NVIDIA N1 on all of my GD chassis. I like the NVIDIAs. I think they sound good. They're not like crazy loud. They're not crazy quiet either, but it's a good catback. What wiring am I going to use for the EG33? It's a good question. The EG33, since we're going to be using the Haltech Elite 2500, it comes with a universal wiring harness. We're going to be splicing that universal harness into the STI harness and the EG33 harness, just to kind of get it like all commingled together. We're going to have like a Frankenstein harness, but it'll get the job done. Last update I got from Outfront was they are porting the heads right now. They're porting and polishing the heads, and they're cleaning up the casting just because the stock casting looked awful, as you guys saw. Like, I thought a piece of material broke off in the heads. It's just like crappy casting that they have for the stock heads. So they're porting, they're polishing the heads for us. I think I owe them another $1,800. I should have that paid off here in the next like couple weeks, or like a week or two, hopefully. And then when they finish the engine, hopefully they can just send it right back up to us. Tanner, where is the best place to mount an IAT sensor on a front mount intercooler pipa on an 07 STI? I would mount it in the cold side charge piping right before the throttle body. If you put the IAT sensor right in the intercooler, right in the front of the car, you're not going to be getting as accurate temps as you would as if that IAT sensor was right before the throttle body, because as the air is like passing over the intercooler and cooling all the charged air down, it still has a ways to go in that piping before it hits the throttle body, and it has a potential to heat up from heat soak around the pipes, changing your IAT temp. So I would just put that sensor as close to the throttle body as you can, just to get the most accurate readings off of that isolated IAT sensor. How do I diagnose blow-by on my 15 STI? I have an AOS already. If you already have an AOS, it just means that potentially the blow-by is getting through the AOS. OC Turbo Joe, super cool dude, on Instagram. If you go on his page, you can check it out. He put a catch can in line with his AOS, and you can see how much oil that the AOS doesn't fully catch and actually puts back into the system. Like, the air oil separator does an awesome job at mitigating how much oil actually goes through the system, but putting an inline catch can with the air oil separator, you'll see like there's still a decent amount of oil that'll make it through. So you're still going to have blow-by. You're just not going to have as much blow-by unless you put like a catch can in line with that too. But if you want to, it's something totally worth doing. So if I'm understanding correctly, avoid MAP. I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not going to order from MAP again. I don't know if you guys want to or not. Like, my buying experience with MAP was garbage. I don't necessarily like to talk crap about companies unless like they fully deserve it. But honestly, my buying experience with MA Performance was straight garbage. I got told that I wasn't getting sent things. I got told I was wrong. I got told that this part doesn't come with the kit when he sent me a picture of it and said I already had it. So personally, I'm not going to buy through them again. If you guys do, just buy within reason and keep in mind that maybe you might not get something. I've heard other people had similar experiences as I did with them. So just keep an open mind if you are ordering through them. At work, gotta love working late nights. I feel it. I used to work when I was in the Army. I used to work vamps. Well, we called it vamps. It was like I worked 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. Super weird schedule, but I mean, after a while, you get used to it. I liked it because it was like the whole like military installation. Well, this is when I was deployed. The whole like post was always like dead quiet, so I mean, I didn't mind it too much. What up, dude? What blow-off valve or bypass valve you recommend for a 15 plus STI? If you have a 15 plus STI, I recommend sticking with a bypass valve. I've always had good luck with like the Cobb XLE. Perrin's is pretty okay also. If you truly do want a blow-off valve, a hybrid setup would probably be the best thing to do for you, just because you are going to be getting some of that metered air back into the system. If you are going to run a hybrid, I would suggest doing like 60-40. So that way you're getting 60% of the air going back in, 40% out. I wouldn't run a fully atmospheric blow-off valve. The car just won't be happy unless you're getting pro-tuned with it. You have like speed density set up and it's like super properly set up. I would just avoid them. Sean, what's going on, dude? Hey, bro. Big shout out to you, my man, for introducing me to the Mod Garage. Dude, they're awesome people. And a huge shout out to Mark G over at TMG and getting my new Cobb J pipe so fast. Rally Sport Direct was on back order. Yeah, the amount of time that I can get parts from the Mod Garage versus like Rally Sport is like incredible. Like I've gotten like overnight shipping, 2-day shipping on parts that are like back ordered through other companies. Like if you guys are seriously looking for a company to order parts through, Facebook, look up just the Mod Garage. Super awesome people. They have sales members on there that like message you back instantaneously. It's wicked. But yeah, I order like the majority of my parts through them. If they can't give me something, then I go like directly to the manufacturer. Yeah, Silent H like Vin. I feel it, dude. I feel it. I like the Silent H. Can't wait to see some BRZ POV driving. I am filming those tomorrow, so you guys will have those videos Saturday morning. I'm going to be honest. Hey, appreciate the dono, Fox. Thanks again for the extra work you put into making sure I got my order anytime, my dude. So like USPS, like, kind of lost Fox's order. He just shot me an email. I got him a replacement order sent out. He ended up getting both orders. I was totally fine with it. So Fox, enjoy the good stuff, my dude. I appreciate the support, my man, and I appreciate the dono going into the channel. But the BRZ stuff, oh, that car rips. It is nuts. I actually prefer the BRZ how it is now than how I preferred the STI when it came off the dyno at 400 wheel horsepower. Like there's 118 wheel horsepower difference and like a massive torque difference between the two cars. But the BRZ, I don't know, it's just like an entirely different kind of fun. You guys will see on Saturday when I upload the driving video. But that car boogies. Like I may have already played with a couple other cars on the freeway. It takes on 5.0s pretty well. It was like a lightly modified 5.0 also. I mean, that car's heavy, but you guys will see on Saturday. That car's nuts. Dave, my message was skipped. All right, Dave, I'm going back up. There it is. Tanner, where's the best place to... What are you talking about, Dave? I answered your question on the IAT sensor, my man. Dave, we talked about the IAT sensor right before the throttle body, as close as you can to the throttle body. Tanner, unfortunately, I never got to see the cars in person. I'm no longer at JBLM. I'm still watching all the amazing content. Just bought my Canon EOS M50 like you recommended. Awesome, dude. The Canon EOS M50 is a really good starter camera. That is the camera that I started with when I started doing videos full-time. Well, it wasn't even full-time. Just when I started doing videos part-time. I remember I was sitting on the couch at home in my old house where you guys like originally saw me making videos. I was watching, I think it was like Daily Driven Exotics or something like that at the time. And I was like, I could make YouTube videos. Went up to Best Buy, bought a camera, started doing it. So if you guys are, the Canon M50 is a really good starter camera. Good luck at whatever other duty station you are at, my friend. Hopefully you're not stuck at an awful one like I've been in the past. Same, Brian. Hey, I just finished up a bunch of suspension upgrades, and now I'm fixing up for the Flex Fuel kit I made myself. Hey, that sounds fun. Flex Fuel is an awesome upgrade if you guys have access to E85. When I went at E85 on the STI, it was noticeably different, like how much better the car ran with that fuel. So if you guys do have the option of getting E85, I do highly suggest doing so. It's an awesome fuel. Hello, Marco. Hello, my friend. You know how much power stock EJ257 cylinder wall can hold before cracking? Honestly, it depends on the health of the block I've seen and what EJ257 you have. If you have the type RA short block, it's honestly a lot like sturdier, but that has to do with like, if you're just asking about the block and not the actual internals, I wouldn't really push that block past like 400, 425. Well, I don't know. No, you can push it more. You can push it more than that. That's a hard question because it also depends on how the health of the motor is, how the block is itself. If you're just talking about the short block, the case halves alone, I've seen people push up to like 550 on those case halves. It's not the most reliable. It's not the safest. You do risk blowing the motor, but I mean, it's going to vary from each one, especially if it's like new, seasoned, used. It's going to depend on the block that you have, my man. Hey, bro, random question. Can you fill a trans diff from the dipstick? Also, is there a sensor or rear diff for 16WX that needs a 24mm bolt? You can fill up the transmission from the dipstick if you have access to it. I have done it before. On my 07 STI, we had a dipstick on the transmission. I don't know why I keep playing with this tape measure. On my 07 STI, I did have a dipstick. I did fill up the transmission using the dipstick. It's totally fine to do that. Just make sure you're filling it up to the proper amount. As for the second half of that question, is there a sensor on the rear diff of the 16WX that needs a 24mm bolt? Not that I can think of. I don't think. It also depends on the WRX. What? Oh, 16WX. I don't think there's a rear diff sensor in there. There's one on the STI that reads like diff temperature. I don't think there's one on the WRX. When you get time, just go to the back of your car, look under it. You'll see it if there is. It's a pretty big plug, like right on the back of the diff. You'll see it if there is one. Once I pay off my car, would you recommend buying an access port in stage 1, 2 from MA Performance, or save up and just go straight to stage 2 with the intake and turbo back and stick with the stock tune? I need to know what the car is on that one. But if it were me, I would do a Cobb SF intake, basic fuel system. That's going to be injectors, fuel pump, fuel pressure regulator, and a turbo back. Get a Pro Tune. It'll make a huge difference on the car. You'll notice like a pretty good gains with the car also. That's personally what I would do, but if I'm going between the two choices that you gave me, I also wouldn't get an MA Performance tune, but that's also just me. I would do the stage 2 with intake and turbo back, but remember, if you are in a 15 plus STI, you can't run a turbo back and an intake together. If it's a WRX, you're totally fine to do that though. Thanks for getting MX with free shipping. Thanks for getting MX. MX. What is MX? MX. I'm not sure what MX is. Hey, Tanner, can you build my headlights? So, all right, I am going to open this one up to you guys if you want this. If you guys want me to offer headlight services to you guys and build your guys' headlights, I can add it to the Smeedia website as a service option where it would have like drop-down menus for everything you want. You enter in the description. You pay for the headlights up front, you send them out to me, and then I can knock them out. If that is something that you guys are interested in wanting as a service of just me building your guys' headlights, I can definitely do that as a side job for you guys. Typically, if you guys do want that, I will not touch anything that is not an OEM headlight. So I will not touch depot headlights. I will not touch like Spider, Subi Speed, none of that stuff. The quality on anything that's not OEM is pretty garbage. They tend to leak pretty quick also if they're not OEM. So if that is something that you guys want, let me know in the chat. I'll add it to the website if that is something that's feasible. We can definitely make that happen. Any ideas about morning start with soft brake pedal and poor braking to get okay after a block or two? If you have moisture in your lines and it's starting to get cold out, that any water that might be in there might start to like turn to a slushy or freeze a little bit. It is starting to become a little bit colder outside. So if that is it, you might just have water in your lines. I mean, even if it's not getting cold outside, just having water or moisture in your lines is going to be an issue. If it were me, I would do a brake fluid flush, swap it out with some new fluid. That should help clear up the issue. If it's still kind of feeling spongy, check your pads, check your rotors, and just kind of assess from there. What did you do in the Army? I'm a JTAC. No shit. I used to work with JTAC all the time. I was a 15 Whiskey. I was a UAS operator. I flew drones. I was an MC, a mission commander. I taught people how to fly also. It was fun. I enjoyed it for the 4.5 years I did it. I used to work with JTACs all the time when I was deployed. Super, super chill people. Super chill. I love your headlight video. I think I'm going to try to do my own Hawkeye set. Do it, my man. It's that video I made on headlights is pretty universal for any set that you're doing out there. So it should be pretty much a plug and play template to be able to do that setup. If you want to add halos or anything like that, you can definitely do that while you're in there as well. When at the workbench, have you thought about having the camera shooting from your POV rotate 180 degrees? I was accidentally watching the screen upside down and it looked nice. I've thought about it. I can definitely do that on the next POV, like straight down video. All I have to do is rotate the mount 180 degrees, and I can definitely make that happen. But then I can't see the screen, so then I don't really know what I'm shooting. I need to buy a couple attachments. I have like an external monitor that I can put up there. So I'll grab a couple attachments tomorrow. I'll swing out to like Best Buy or something like that, grab some camera mounts, and we can do that for the next one. So your hands are coming from the bottom of the screen. I feel it. I feel it, my dude. Access port question. I have a 2016 STI with a nameless axle back and Cobb SF with OTS map. What OTS map should I use? Been getting negative 1.4 to 5 feedback knock. I know you recommend E-Tune and Pro-Tune. E-Tune Pro-Tune is always a good way to go, but if you are going to run an OTS tune with a nameless axle back and a Cobb SF intake, you should just be using the stage 1 map. That's pretty much just going to be for the intake and pretty much just the intake. If you added a cat back, it'd be like stage 1 plus. But if you just have an intake and an axle back, stage 1 tune is what you should be using from Cobb. Love your channel. So cool what you do. Hey, appreciate it. I'm going to butcher your name, but I'm going to go for it. Nastasja. I completely butchered that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What's good, homie? Finally caught you on a live stream. What's going on, Steven? Hope you're having a good night, my dude. Hey, bro, keep up the great work. I mean, I'm always going to keep it up. I got a lot of stuff to share with you guys. Don't use OTS maps. Agreed, OTS maps are not always the best thing to use, but sometimes it's the only option. If you are going to use it, just make sure the map notes matches what you have done to the car. You guys have seen the video. I've made the entire video on OTS maps. Oh, my God, dude, I just had like a brain fart on that one. You guys have seen the entire video on the OTS map one, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it really goes in depth on OTS maps. So happy to see the BRZ running. Cannot wait to see you take it for a rip. Great content, man. Hey, appreciate it, Evil X. Saturday, that video will be out for everyone. I'm going to go film it tomorrow. Half tempted to take the BRZ up into the mountains, but I don't think I fully trust the car yet to rip it up there. So I think we're going to rip it around the freeway a little bit, see if we can't go pick on a couple WRXs or STIs with that thing. What budget short throw shifter do you recommend for a 2015 WRX? Boomba? 100%. I would not get a different short throw shifter for a WRX other than Boomba. Boomba has always been my go-to for the V8 chassis WRXs. My 2004 WRX got totaled by a drunk driver. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. You turned out in front of me on the freeway home from last. Let me put an F in the chat also for you, my man. I'm sorry. Hopefully, insurance takes care of you and you're able to grab a new one in the near short future. Hopefully you're all right as well, my man. I don't want to see anyone get hurt or anything like that. So, and hopefully he got, like, if someone's truly drunk driving, hopefully he got charged and loses his license for a while and reflects back on that and doesn't do it again. Oh my God, I just lost it. Where did I just go? Wow, I am like way back here in comments. You guys are killing it right now. Hey man, I just had a question on how you expanded your merch business and your social media. Honestly, I just keep doing it. Like I don't normally go to bed till like 2:30, 3 a.m. I'm either editing videos, I'm updating the website, I'm trying to find a vendor for merchandise, I'm trying to budget to be able to order merchandise at a price point at which I can afford it while juggling the cars. So it's a lot. Just keep grinding. Microsoft Excel is going to be your best friend for budgeting things out like that. If you don't know how to use it, there's a couple like free courses out on YouTube and things like that. But Microsoft Excel, organize everything. And that'll pretty much tell you what you can and can't afford based on whatever budget that you have. As for Instagram, I mean, I've been doing my Instagram for, I think, 3 years now, 2 or 3 years. And it's just grind it out, my dude. It's like the best advice I can give on that one. Appreciate it, Emma. Appreciate it. Honestly, I hope you get a replacement soon, Stefan, and insurance takes care of you on that one. I just got my 18 STI E-tuned. I'm digging it. Hey, glad you're digging it, my dude. Glad you're digging it, Peter. VJ, I haven't. I think that's Japanese. I haven't read Japanese in like 10 years, so I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what that says. I do apologize. Are spacers a good temp until I buy my new wheels? Also, should I stay 18 or 19s? Preferably, I like the 18s. I think the 18-inch wheels look a lot better than the 19s. I think the 19s are a little bit too big, and you can run a little bit bigger of a tire on the 18s. But wheel spacers, I mean, if you don't plan on track, I wouldn't track the car on wheel spacers if it were me. If you're just daily driving, wheel spacers are totally safe. Just make sure everything is torqued down, everything is like actually tightened down. Just be safe when you're doing it. Don't try to romp on the car too much with wheel spacers. I've seen some bad things happen. And if you are getting like bolt-on wheel spacers, make sure you get like a quality set also. When I had wheel spacers, I had Perrin's like 20 millimeter wheel spacers on my STI like a couple years ago. Just make sure you're getting a quality set. Hey, my TPMS sensors blink for a bit, then stays on. Then says check TPMS and owner's manual. You either have a bad TPMS sensor or you are actually losing pressure in one of your wheels. I completely removed TPMS sensors out of all my cars. I disabled the light. If you want your TPMS sensors, you can go to Subaru. They have a scan tool. They'll go up to each wheel. They'll tell you if one of the TPMS sensors is good or bad. If it's a bad one, they're pretty cheap to replace. I think a TPMS sensor is like $50. It's a pretty easy swap. They're just going to pull the tire off, pull the old TPMS sensor out, throw the new one in, put the tire back on. You'll be good to go. What is the... Hey, appreciate the dono. Thick Lives Matter. Ethan at Boxer Baddies introduced me to you. Got same gen STI. You can follow Hot Messy. What first engine mods for a bit of horsepower and fun? Hey, I've talked to Ethan a couple times over at Boxer Baddies. He's a super chill dude. Instagram page over there. He pretty much only does Subaru content. But for like first mods, if you're looking for power mods, your best bang for the buck on power mods, if you're not looking to do too much, is going to be an access port, and it's going to be a downpipe. Those are going to be like your most mods you're going to get out of an OTS tune for like the most amount of horsepower that you're going to get off of OTS. If you're looking to get a pro tune, boost controller, turbo back, intake, injectors, fuel pump, and fuel stumble fix kit from Cobb, it's going to be your best bang for the buck for a pro tune if you're looking for like 300 to 315 wheel horsepower. If you have the extra money, snag an intercooler also. It'll definitely help. But also appreciate the dono, my man. Appreciate the dono. I will swing on Instagram later and I'll see if I can find you. My 2015 does have that sometimes too, Hunter. What is the first mod you've done to the WRX? The first mod that I always do to my cars is a short shifter. Anything that I touch inside of the car is always the first mod I do, whether it's a brake pedal feel, whether it's a shifter feel, whether it's bushings, anything that I interact with in the car is always my first mods, because I want the best driving experience that I can get out of the car. I hate sloppy bushings. I hate like loose chassis. So I always try to make things like nice and tight. So for me, it's always going to be like stiffening up chassis, doing driver-centric mods. I've made a lot of videos on those ones in the past. If you guys are looking for any examples, I'd swing back through the channel and look for those ones. I think I have one. It's like best 10 driver experience mods for like under $100 or something like that. Super good video. I mean, I think it's a good video. You guys might think otherwise, but I like it. So as I said earlier, if you're technically inclined, you can make an entire flex fuel kit for $100. My kit has been reliable. You can definitely make your own flex fuel kits for a lot cheaper than what people are selling them for, like Cobb and all them. You can buy a Bosch sensor off of Amazon. You can wire it in yourself. You can make your own fuel line. There's a lot of that stuff you can do for free. Well, not free, but a lot cheaper than buying a pre-made kit. The pre-made kits are pretty plug and play. They make it easy. I've done some of the like DIY fuel stuff in the past. When it came to doing it on the STI, I just wanted an easy solution to plug and play pretty much. So I don't know why you're blowing up. But yeah, you can definitely do it a lot cheaper if you are willing to take on the challenge of just building your own setup. But like you said, definitely much cheaper to do it yourself. What's up, brother? Glad to see the BRZ back as well. Haven't heard from you in a while on IG. Congrats on the merch. Looking to snack some soon. Hey, appreciate it, my dude. My Instagram DMs have like imploded, and it's like impossible to get through them all. So I try my best whenever I get like an extra like 10, 20 minutes here and there to swing through and try to get back to some of them. Just know that like if I get back to one message that you guys send me and then 30 other messages come in, like I don't see the message that we just like talked about and it gets pushed down to the bottom. The easiest way to get questions answered is to YouTube comments. I respond to every YouTube comment. That is one that I make sure I have time for. When responding is YouTube comments, because that's when I always try to stay on top of. Then it's like Instagram. Don't try to message me on Facebook if you find me on Facebook. I rarely, very rarely check my Facebook Messenger, and I will probably not see your message. So nothing against you if you do send me a message. I just don't look at Facebook Messenger. I don't know why this one's hidden. Why are you held for review? Hey, just want to say love the videos and keep up the amazing work. Why did YouTube flag that one in the comments? Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it, Plumber WX. Yes, add the headlight service. All right, that's one vote. Not sure how to add other people in the chat, but I did recently replace it. Okay, I see that was earlier. I'm late. Can someone explain the headlight service thing? Is it just custom retrofit projectors? I can do anything you guys want for like custom headlight stuff. Anything you guys want me to build, I can definitely build. I've done quad projector setups before, quad halos, quad demon eyes. I've done the accurate TSX Jewel headlights before. I can do pretty much anything you guys want. Just know that headlight services tend to get pretty expensive, like the more customized you want, because there's a lot more building that goes involved. The set that I showed you guys that I built today was a very basic set. It was just swapping out a couple pieces and adding a demon eye with some paint. So just keep in mind, headlight services can get pretty expensive. 18WX for about $2,700. Get stage 2 plus E-Tune, local T. Yep. Personally, I don't like MAP, but you guys know how I feel about that, so I'm going to glaze over that one. When are you doing air cups? Air cups. We're doing air cups on the STI. Right now, the priority on the STI is 100% the engine without front. Last update I got from Alpha Motorsports, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but last update I got was they're porting and polishing the heads and cleaning up the head castings for us. So I think that was about an extra $500 for a stage 1 port that they're doing for us. So I think the short block is done. I haven't really gotten any updates on what's done and what's not done, but I'm expecting like the engine to come back like mid to late October, and when it does come back, we're going to throw it like right in the STI to make sure fitment and everything's solid. Then we can start like fabricating up some of the custom stuff that we're going to need. I need to order the turbo at some point, so that way we can fabricate the headers. What else do I need to order? I think that's all I need to order for fabrication purposes. Hell yeah, what's your price range for the headlight service? Like I said, it entirely depends on what the headlights are, what we're modifying. Labor can range from like $300 up to like $1,500, depending on what you want done. The $1,500 price tag is typically for like quad projector setups, quad halos, quad demons, that kind of stuff like that. Fumoto oil plug, how do I feel about that? I actually just put one on the BRZ and I changed the oil in it, and I actually really like that little plug. I don't feel safe if the clip isn't in there holding the little valve adjustment dealio down, but so far I like it. It's the first time I've ever used it. Buying new wheels and tires, what do I need to do in regards to the TPMS sensors? So keep in mind that a lot of aftermarket wheels out there don't always support TPMS sensors. They do have some like, it's like a custom bracket type dealio where you can fit the TPMS sensor, but sometimes when they go to put the tire on the wheel, the tire hits the TPMS sensor and then it can potentially destroy the TPMS sensor. So some wheels will fit TPMS, some wheels won't fit TPMS. I can't give you like an exact list. I can tell you the Work D9Rs and the Enki NT03s do not fit TPMS sensors. I have one, but heard bad news about them. Not quite sure what that's in relation to. So intake downpipe, bad. Blow-off valve, bad. How do I get an induction noise if I plan to get a downpipe in the future? So you can totally run an intake and a downpipe together on a 15. This is only a 2015 plus STI issue. You cannot run an intake and a downpipe on an OTS tune. Or, I mean, technically you shouldn't do it with a Pro Tune because you're not really getting any gains from it. But the stock fuel system on the 2015 plus STI is not as sufficient, or it just doesn't hold up for power well at all. From what Chris down at Surgeline Tuning told me about a year ago, is that the 15 plus STIs make more power than previous models do. So the fuel system just can't compensate correctly for the intake and downpipe combo. Trust me, I found out the hard way. If you go like way back in the channel to like probably in the first 20 videos I made when I installed my Cobb downpipe, you can see I was getting codes for lean efficiency. Dam was dropping. Feedback knock was going through the roof. The car hated it. It absolutely hated it. So if you are going to do that, you're going to need injectors. You're going to need at least a fuel stumble fix kit, and you're going to at least need a fuel pump. If you want induction noises, that intake alone will give you all the induction noise you should want. I mean, if you truly do want a blow-off valve, you can get a Pro Tune with a blow-off valve. Just keep in mind that the car is not going to be running at its optimal performance while it's still fully on the math. But you can definitely get the induction noises. That intake does an awesome job of doing so. Christopher, what up, dude? Just got here. I picked up your toe strap, and I need ideas where to mount it on my GR hatch. So I have one on the BRZ. Since it's a single exit exhaust with a dual exit bumper, I have that one like mounted to the chassis. I have one mounted on the STI also, up where like the where is it, the tow hitch, where the stock tow hitch normally goes in the front of the crash bar. I also have one mounted up in there. Well, I did, not anymore, because I don't have a crash bar on the STI anymore, because I threw away the stock one, and I don't have the ETS intercooler anymore or the ETS crash bar. But that's where I mounted mine when I did have it. I just dremeled out a small little hole through the little cover for it and just plooped it right through there. You can rotate the video in post-production. You can rotate the video in post-production, but when you do that, sometimes it just doesn't always line up right. I've done it before in the past, and when I'm watching it in Adobe Premiere, it doesn't look right to me. So I think next time I'll just move the mount around and I'll buy a mount for my external monitor. Thoughts on the best aftermarket radiator and or oil cooler? I will be doing many track days in this next season, looking to improve cooling efficiency. Thanks in advance. For radiators, I always suggest Koyo. Koyo's always been the best radiator that I've ran. I'm not a huge fan of Mishimoto, but I have a Mishimoto intercooler radiator for the SDI in the garage. I have CSF in the BRZ right now because it was one that was in stock and I needed one ASAP, and that one's been doing pretty good for me so far. Haven't had any issues with it, but this coaster always sticks. But if you want like a good like radiator oil cooler combo, Jackson Racing makes a really cool one. It's pretty expensive, but it's a radiator and an oil cooler combo, so that way you're not having to stack a lot of stuff in the front of the car, especially if you have a front mount intercooler. Air still passes through the intercooler, but it becomes so turbulent that it doesn't always go through the radiator as it should, and it reduces efficiency of the radiator. So if you want one that kind of combines them together, I would get the Jackson Racing radiator intercooler combo. Small dog, what are you doing? Don't stare at me. Your Much is making a strange chopping noise, running Yeti, and it's your phone creating interference. I moved my phone. It could have been my phone. I use a Marantz umpire mic. I like the Marantz one. I do have some other one up there. I don't even know what it is. What do you do for work? I do YouTube, and I do freelance videography and photography for people. I also build headlights for people. I do a lot of other like side installs for people. I do a lot of things. I got tired of sitting at the normal 9 to 5 every single day in a cubicle. I couldn't take it anymore. So now we're here. Any news on your WX swap? Kind of talked about that one. Out front's porting the heads. We should get the motor back here like mid-October to late October. Hey, thanks for the headlight video. Anytime I do it, I try to make the headlight video as detailed as possible, so that way if you guys wanted to retrofit your own stuff, it actually covered the bulk majority of information. Hey, what are you trying to get back there, dude? There's nothing back there. Jeez, the dog's like trying to get like a ball back there. He's like pawing at my something he shouldn't paw at, and something I can't show on YouTube, or else YouTube's gonna get mad. I have an EJ20 block. It seized after previous owner built it. The short block has forged manly pistons. The rods are 2 and 4 bent. What's the best way to remove the pistons with a seized crank? Force, and then get the case halves remachined, because they're not going to want to come out. So you're really going to have to try to either turn it over or get to the wrist pins one way or another. I've done it in the past. You really just got to try to turn it over. Sometimes the crank has to be replaced if it can't be salvaged. If the crank is salvaged, then you're going to have to get the crank like cleaned up, either polished, renitrated, and then you're going to have to get those case halves like rebored, resurfaced, everything, get them cleaned up if they are salvageable. Sometimes when a block gets seized, it just completely destroys it, unfortunately. So wishing you the best if you are able to get it apart and everything is still salvageable. Hey, thanks, my dude. Anytime. Stephen Nolley, so you from the I have a 2013 WRX. I'm the OG owner, only 35K miles. I'm ready to start adding mods. 7 years is about time. Your channel is great for people like me and don't know much about cars. Thanks. Hey, anytime, my dude. Happy modding. Hopefully everything works out safely for you also. The goal for the videos is try to help people who are trying to modify Subarus. I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and hopefully those mistakes help you guys avoid the same ones that I've had. What should I do before my Pro Tune on the 28th? Hype yourself up. So just like go in the bathroom, stare at yourself in the mirror, just be like, we're gonna do this. It's going to go smoothly, and you just get yourself pumped. Like before I took the BRZ out there, I was like, whoo, it's always nervous because you never know if it's going to survive on the dyno or not. Like it's an exciting day. It's a mixed emotions. It's a day of roller coasters and mixed emotions. If you're trying to like add mods, I would just make sure, go through that pre-dyno checklist video that I made, make sure that everything's solid, no boost leaks, no like fluid leaks anywhere. Make sure everything's tight, make sure everything is installed properly, make sure all hoses are routed properly. Go through the car with a fine-tooth comb, make sure everything is intact and set up right. Dude, following your videos makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about from the shop and dealer. Great job, Forster XT. Hey, glad the videos are helping. That was another thing is I don't want... Jeez, dude, I am like so far... Oh, bulging hemorrhoids? I didn't even see the dono. Hey, appreciate the dono, my dude. Didn't even pop up on my screen, but I appreciate the dono, bulging hemorrhoids. I'm sorry. It's a funny name. I'm sorry. I like it. But yeah, I'm glad that the dealership's not taking advantage of everyone, and hopefully the videos do help provide some insight on what the dealers are doing. Thoughts on the new WRX STI being possibly developed with Toyota? I hate it. I hate the new WRX STI. You guys know this. I've talked about it in that one video I made. The little camouflaged WRX that they were driving around looks exactly like the rendering that I posted. Not a fan. First mod should always be an AOS. Catback, agree. Reliability mod should always be first. Protect the investment. No, first, if you're buying a used car, the first thing I think you should do is go through there and make sure everything like is up to date. Fluids are changed. Cars in running order. Make sure everything's solid. And then I mean, for me, I would get an access port over an AOS to start with, because at least with the access port, I'm not buying it for the tuning purposes. I'm buying it for the monitoring purposes, because that way I can at least see what the car is doing. And then I'd get like an AOS after that. Anthony, what up, dude? Hey, now I know the oil you suggest for the 15 plus, but for my 2011 sedan, what oil do you suggest? ID closed deck stage 2.5 built with 4,500 miles on it. I'm guessing FIC 1200 injectors, FP Blue 368 pump 427 wheel horsepower. That sounds fun. For me, whenever I'm using like a standard oil in my STI or an EJ motor in general, I like the Motul 5W40 XS. XS Gen 2. It's what we're running in the BRZ right now. Or did I get the E-Clean? I don't remember what I got for the BRZ. But I use the XS Gen 2 for any EJs that I have. It's pretty good oil. I typically go with the 5W40 just because it has that higher temp grade on that 40 side rather than running a 30 weight. I hate calling it weight too. It's not weight. 30 grade. So the 40 grade will definitely help hold up to the higher temps a little bit better, just because those EJs like to run a little bit hot. It's a very enclosed area. It runs hot. So that helps keep the oil from breaking down a little bit more. I've done an oil analysis on the Gen 1 of Motul. If you want to swing back and watch that one, the results came back killer for that one. I would talk to your builder on what oil. Builder will also give you some very good information on that. That's just what I typically tend to use. Thanks for creating great content. I enjoy watching your videos, and it has given me the inspiration to start working on my WRX. Keep up the great work. Hey, appreciate it, Ben. How do I support your channel build? Hey, Jose, if you guys do want to help support the channel or build, you can always snag some merch. I always appreciate it. I don't necessarily like just to throw I don't like GoFundMe's or anything like that. Patreons, I'm not a huge fan of that stuff, so I always want to give you guys something in return. If you guys do want to help support the channel or the build and you want anything, we have the new merch dropping on Saturday. You guys have seen the Drive hoodies. We got the Drive V2 t-shirts in, some new Drive slaps. We have a couple of the old red Drive t-shirts left, some jet tags, toe straps, air fresheners. It's all on the website. I'll throw it down in the chat. So if you guys do want to support, grab anything, definitely grab it there. The new merch drops Saturday at 12 p.m. PST. Everything's limited quantity. I got like 50 of these. I have 60 of the hoodies. So just keep an eye out. Always appreciate anything that you guys snag. I hand ship everything. I write you guys little notes on the packaging as well. So always appreciate it, my dudes and dudettes because 2.5% of subscribers are females. So dudes and dudettes. Would you get a short throw shifter BRZ FRS? I would. I have a short throw in my BRZ. I have the Torque Solutions, I believe. Typically, I'm not a huge fan of Torque Solutions because they kind of copy and paste a lot of other people's products, but they were the only one at the time who had any in stock. I don't have any real complaints with it. I like it, but I would typically tend to buy anyone else over Torque Solutions, but they do make a good short shifter. I'll give them that. DIY Flex Fuel Kit is basically just an Arduino, a couple resistors, voltage regulator, GM ethanol sensor, and a couple connectors. Very true. If you guys know how to wire Arduino boards, it's like a huge thing to be able to know how to do. I played with Arduinos a couple years ago. They're pretty much these little microcontrollers that let you, I mean, you can do whatever you want with them. Arduino is cool stuff. Hey, what's going on, brother? What's going on, Austin? How you doing tonight? King Richard, what do you charge for the headlight service you did in the video you posted today? Typically, for the build that I did today, labor-wise, I charge about $360. I can have it done in a day. It's typically a day turnaround time for me. Unfortunately, with the set that I built for that subscriber, his headlights, we did get one of the lenses, one of those etched lenses damaged in shipping. So his headlights were on hold for about 2 weeks getting that replacement etched lens sent in. But typically about $360 for that build. Plus parts. I'm going to say that now because I don't want like misinformation going on that one. I got a method to restore the inside portion of the lens. Took a minute to figure out. Careful touching the inside of a headlight lens. I should have said that in the video that I uploaded. Don't try to wipe it off. Don't try to clean the inside of the lens. There's a special coating on the inside of the lens where if you start wiping it off, it just makes things awful. I've made the mistake before. Jose, if you do have any special tricks, feel free to drop them down below. I'm kind of curious if I've used them before or not. Outside of the cars and photography, do you have any other money hole addictions? I do. I really like guns. I've got one. I have my AR-15 over here, but I don't like flashing it on YouTube because YouTube like starts flagging everything. We go up shooting all the time. I have a couple guns that we go up and recreationally shoot. Fun, expensive hobby, but that is the other money pit of hobbies that I have. And I guess, no, not really those. I rarely touch those. I know this is not exactly your expertise, but I'm getting a 14 GT Stang. What's more important, suspension and exhaust or short shifter and trans? For me, I would do suspension and exhaust. Actually, for me, I would do suspension and transmission before doing anything else. I like stiff chassis. I like things to be responsive. I always love the sound of an exhaust, but for me, having the responsiveness of the chassis is a little bit more important than being able to hear the car a little bit better and throwing other performance mods on there. What ECU pin wire do you tap into for data logging and wideband on a 15 STI? I don't have the answer to that question because I don't know. On all the AEM widebands that I've installed, I always cut those wires off because I never use them for data logging. I would ask your tuner to see, or I'm assuming you're doing it for e-tuning. I would ask your e-tuner where he wants you to install those. What up, dude? What up, we're Bo-Sty? We're Bo-STI? What up, dude? You're goated, bro. I'm a goated. I love your videos. One of my favorite channels on YouTube. Hey, appreciate it, Zachary. Appreciate it, my man. I'm here for you guys. Well, I try to be here for you guys as much as possible. I get like super busy at times too, but I try to do these live streams as often as I can. What's my opinion on recirculating kit for blow-off valve? Would it make the same whoosh noise specifically for the HKS? I knew that caveat was coming on that one. You can definitely get the recirculation kit for the HKS blow-off valve. If you do that, just keep in mind that you are going to be able to hear it a little bit, but it's not going to be like the full like blow-off valve noise because that air is going back into the system. It will still pass through and you'll get a little bit of a whoosh. It just won't be as violent. If you are going to do it, I would highly suggest getting that recirculation kit just so the ECU does see the air going back into the system. So that way it doesn't start freaking out and trying to run too rich or too lean at any point. With regards to AOS and flex fuel, would swapping to front mount intercooler be better than staying top mount intercooler for accessibility and bay room? So if you, did I misspell stream? I might have like had a typo on streaming. I will fix that after this. But in regards to that, you guys know how I feel about top mount intercoolers. I absolutely hate them. They're a pain to pull on and off of the car, or take on and put back on the car. I hate them. I don't like top mount intercoolers. You can make good power with a top mount intercooler. For me, the top mount intercooler should not get in the way of your AOS if you are doing it because it's going to mount on the strut tower, specifically on the passenger side. The intercooler just doesn't go that far over, so you should be fine on clearance with that one. Johnny, I totally missed your question. Hey, bro, the oil problem, 5W30 without oil cooler, just as daily, the oil pressure's at 2 to 4 PSI. Is that bad? The tuner told me 1 PSI is always better than 0 PSI. For me, 2 to 4 PSI is low. I don't know what RPM your idle is set at, but if you're idling at 2 to 4 PSI, I'm guessing your idle is set pretty low, or you just have low oil pressure and your oil might be just getting too thin when it gets too hot. Even with the 5W40 and the BRZ right now, it gets a little bit too hot, and if it gets too hot, oil pressure does drop down for me also to about like 6 to 8 PSI versus that like 13 to 15 PSI. So oil temp is always going to correlate with oil pressure. Just because as the oil gets hotter, it's going to get thinner. You're going to lose oil pressure. But 2 to 4 PSI is pretty low. I would go through, I would see where the sensor is sitting, make sure the sensor is getting like direct oil pressure. And if you need to move it, move it. If you need to go up and oil grade a little bit, I would suggest doing that also. But when I went up to the 5W40, it definitely helped with oil pressure, like maybe 3 to 4 PSI. But that should help out a little bit. With regards to AOS and flex fuel with swap, that's the one we just went. Our Forester shocks and struts a direct crossover in 2013. I have major knee problems and need to have the car lifted. I believe they are, but they are directly swappable. You are gonna have to put in like some body spacers, maybe some small ones to compensate for it, but you should be good. Just keep in mind that you are changing the suspension geometry when you are doing that, but they are pretty much a direct crossover from the WRX over to the Forester. They're both 5x100. They both share the same suspension. I've seen people take WRX and STI suspension, swap it over onto Foresters before. So you should be able to just swap over the struts and springs easily. If not, they also sell lift kits for the cars. I think you can get a lift kit for like $300 to $400, which is roughly gonna be around the same price of what you're paying for struts, springs, and potential body spacers, just to make sure that everything still lines up properly. With the Forester XT as highway car at a place, with the Forester XT as a highway car at a place in the world where top speed is a suggestion, what power and top ends could you expect? Ooh, CVT. CVT is going to be your biggest drawback on that one. Forester XT, I believe Cobb supports the Forester XT. I believe they make parts for that car also. Basic bolt-ons if you're trying to increase power, but CVTs don't like a lot of power. I'm going to tell you that now. LMAO, it does say steam. We're steaming. We're just getting hot in here. Nice and toasty. They don't like a lot of power. The TCMs and the CVTs can be tuned a little bit. I would do basic bolt-ons, maybe intake downpipe access port, reliability mods to go with that one, and I probably wouldn't push it too far past that. The CVTs like to throw tantrums and fits, like anything above like 320 to the wheels from what I've seen in the past, especially some of the older CVTs. I don't know what year XT you're referring to, but just keep in mind CVTs don't like a lot of power. LMAO does say steam. I'm telling you, it's getting like nice and spicy in here. Spicy. I've been contemplating doing TGV and EGR deletes on my 17WX because I hear a lot of people doing it. What are all these do for the cars? Are they recommended to do? So your TGVs, it is a tumbler valve. So if you've ever seen the TGV before, it's especially in the newer WRXs, they're pretty thin. On the STIs and older WRXs, they're pretty like tall. But essentially, it's a butterfly valve inside of the TGV housing. And you get a lot of airflow restrictions going through the TGVs into the block from the manifold. EGR is just deleting the EGR is like deleting it. It reuses exhaust gas. So getting rid of the EGR, make sure that you have fresh air, it's like staying in the engine, and the EGR isn't like pumping everything back in there. There are definitely good modifications to do if you are doing an EGR delete. And TGV delete, depending on where you are, because the TGVs are there for cold starts. If you are doing that, then check local emissions, because you will fail inspection if you delete the TGV and the EGR and they go to plug it in. Maybe not so much the TGV, because that one's a visual thing and they can't really see it, but the EGR they'll definitely see, and they will flag your car for that one. Some twink told me I need fueling upgrades for a full exhaust uppipe and EBCS. What's your take on this? Oh, and I need to know what the car is to answer that question. Hey, just bought a Go Fast Bits hybrid blow-off valve for my 05 WRX. Anything I should know about it? Love your videos. Hey, appreciate it, Joshua. Keep in mind the Go Fast Bits hybrid blow-off valves do tend to leak. I used to have one on my 07 STI. Took it to get dyno tuned once. This is when I first swapped over to the Cobb XLE bypass valves. But if you look, they showed me a video, and the Go Fast Bits hybrid was leaking a lot, and it was like a brand new unit also. So just keep in mind they do tend to leak. Smoke test it, make sure the seals and everything's kind of set up properly in that one, so that way you're not losing a lot of air to the atmosphere. Astro, what up? Just bought a 2020 STI and have been trying to learn all I can about the car. What can I modify with it? Your channel has been super helpful. Do you ever go to meets? I've been trying to find some. I do go to meets every now and then. I took the BRZ out to a meet earlier this week. I don't know what you're trying to modify on the car, so I would need a little more information on that one. But if it were me and you don't want to void warranty, I have an entire video on what you can do without voiding warranty. If you don't care to void warranty, I have a whole nother video for that one also. Oh, and EBC. I still need to know the car, my man. I live north of Seattle, so I know they're out there somewhere. All the ones that I typically go to are in Puyallup, Tacoma, sometimes Auburn. I typically tend to stay away from Kent just because Kent gets a little too rowdy for me, and your boy's not trying to get any tickets. Oh, I went too far, didn't I? I did. Where did I? Handlebar mustache. Why is it not telling me when you guys don't know? What up? Blue Collar Boys, if you guys don't know who that is Devin. He's been in the videos a couple times. He's the one who helped me weld on the hot bung hole onto the overpipe on the BRZ, and he was in the tuning video that we did at Intech also. Romero, what up, dude? Shout out to you, Tanner. Got the merch today. Amazing, bro. Hey, good guess on the wheel horsepower on the BRZ, my dude. You guys are killing it on comments right now, so save the rest of these comments for tomorrow. It's about 8:45 right now. I still got to finish updating the website, getting some more stuff in here cleaned up. As you guys can see behind me, it's a huge mess back there. But we'll do another live stream tomorrow. We'll do one probably like 5 p.m. PST, right as about everyone's getting off work over here. So if you guys want to swing through that one, bring these questions, come hang out, come chill for a while. But you boys got to hop off. It's getting to be about 9 o'clock. I got some editing I got to do also. So I appreciate everyone swinging by. I appreciate the donuts from everyone also. Just keep in mind, we also got new merch dropping on Saturday. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next live stream, though. Keep these questions. Whatever questions you got in here, bring them tomorrow. We'll get them answered. But hope you guys have a good night. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out, homies. Woo. Woo!